Coming up, Marvel and Disney legend Stan Lee passes away, sadly. Disney numbers look pretty good for the fourth quarter, and we're going to discuss Mickey's Very Merry Christmas Party. Live from the Bob Varley Studio in Orlando, Florida, this is The Diz Unplugged. This is the Diz Unplugged, episode 1014 for the week of November 13th, 2018. The Diz Unplugged is brought to you by Dreams Unlimited Travel, experts at helping you plan the perfect Walt Disney World, Disneyland, Disney Cruise Line, and Adventures by Disney vacation. Visit them on the web at www.dreamsunlimitedtravel.com. Hello, everyone. Welcome to this week's episode of The Diz Unplugged. I am your host, Craig Williams. Today, I am filling in for Pete Werner, who currently is, I believe, in Hawaii, in the Waikiki Beach. He's just finally wrapping up his whole big Hawaii, Tokyo vacation, everything that he's been on right now for the past 2 weeks. And so he won't be back on a Tuesday show, the Walt Disney World Edition show, unfortunately, until after Thanksgiving. Of course, he'll be back for the marathon show, but next week, it's Thanksgiving, so we're not Thanksgiving week, so we never do a show the Tuesday before Thanksgiving. Yes, Rhino, it's already coming up. Yeah. So, unfortunately, you'll have to wait a little bit longer for Pete, or we could just talk to him right now.
Wow, what an intro.
I really wanted to give the surprise element going on. I think I did. Maybe just a little bit. So, yeah, we're joined from Hawaii by Pete. So, hey, Pete, welcome.
I have a few hours before we have to check out of the hotel and head over to the airport for the 28-hour flight back home. I'm actually I'm in Honolulu at the Hilton Hawaiian Village. We flew in from Tokyo early yesterday morning, and I'll just share with everybody the view. I can do this that I have right now from my balcony. That's the only nice thing about this hotel. Is the Hawaiian Village. It's not bad. It's not bad, but I'll tell you what. After doing a week at Aulani last week. And then the experience in Tokyo, I feel like I'm at a Motel 6. But it's been a great trip. We've had an amazing time. I am so excited to share the experiences we've had the last few weeks on the marathon show on the 24th. We're going to be doing a whole piece on Aulani. We're going to be doing a whole piece on Tokyo Disneyland, including how to book Tokyo Disneyland because, oh my God, that was a nightmare. But once you get there, I'll give you a preview. I haven't been to Shanghai, I haven't been to Hong Kong yet, but Tokyo Disneyland blows away anything we have in the United States. It's not even close. It's not even close. Tokyo Disney Sea, when people say it's the most beautiful theme park in the world, yeah. I walked around that park with my jaw open for like 3 days going, you can't be serious.
Wow.
Absolutely incredible. Tokyo itself was amazing. Aulani was amazing. We had a great time. I do have a few things about Aulani that we had some problems with that I'll share when we do the show. But I'm excited to do that. I'm excited to share it. I've got so much video and so many photos. And yeah, it's been a lot of fun. It's been a lot of fun, but I'm exhausted. I cannot wait to get home.
What was one highlight from Tokyo? Just give us one.
I can't give you one. If I have to narrow it down, I won't say highlight. I'll say the biggest surprise. Those are crowded parks. Everybody talks about Tokyo Disneyland and the crowds, and they're not lying. They're very crowded parks. When I tell you that we could learn so much from the Japanese about how to behave in public, the first thing I noticed. When they do a parade, there's no ropes being set up. There are no tape being put on the ground to show people where to line up. They don't have to. They just do it. And they're very respectful, and they everybody sits where they're going to sit. in a perfect line, and nobody's pushing, nobody's shoving, nobody's running up at the last minute to run in front of other people. Oh no, it was. I watched it going, you can't be. You know how we are.
Oh,
It's
yeah.
just an entire. I wasn't prepared. I was not prepared for the difference in the experience at all. I was not prepared. People told me that. People told me going in, but until you actually do it, you're not prepared for the experience of how different it is, and in wonderful, wonderful, wonderful ways. I literally, I posted a picture on Twitter of Sean packing up the boxes of stuff that we were shipping home. We shipped 6 big boxes of stuff home from Tokyo Disneyland. Merchandise is completely different. It's not, I think that's what got me excited was it's not the stuff that we see that we see in our parks. It's not just homogenous stuff. So I was like, I lost my mind. So I have those 6 boxes plus all the stuff that's shoved into our suitcases. So we spent a lot of money. And Tokyo itself was amazing because we did Tokyo Disneyland for like 5 days, and then we were 2 days at the Park Hyatt in downtown Tokyo, which I don't think I've ever stayed in a better hotel.
Wow.
Oh, wow.
That's high praise.
I mean that sincerely. I don't think I've ever stayed in a better hotel, and I don't think there's a hotel in the world that has the service that place has. But that's all stuff for the 24th. I'm so anxious to talk about it. I could just do like 2 hours on it right now, which would be better for the audience than listening to Craig. But unfortunately, you have to deal with it.
Oh, I completely agree with you,
kidding.
But we have to fill a lot of time on that Saturday. So I'm glad that we have that to kind of fill the gaps a little bit.
What time is it there right now?
It is about 10 minutes past 8 in the morning
6 hours.
here. And what's weird? It
5
was
now.
like
Because of the time change.
going to Tokyo. I mean, like it's right now in Tokyo, it is 3 a.m.
Oh, jeez.
Oh,
It's 3 a.m. tomorrow.
Oh.
Oh, yeah.
So I'm very fortunate that I kind of fell right back into, I haven't really had a lot, knock wood, a lot of problems with jet lag this trip. I'll see what it's like coming home tomorrow. But I've been pretty good about making sure I slept on the plane and, kind of kept my clock intact. But no, so technically for me, it's 3 o'clock in the morning right now, tomorrow. It was really weird to like leave Tokyo and then like time travel back in, back in time.
Yeah, you've broken Rhino.
Yeah,
He's still trying to figure it out right now.
I'm like,
I wish you could see Rhino's face.
I know. Yeah.
Well, it was. We took off from Tokyo at what was it? 6 p.m. on Monday, and we landed in Honolulu at 11:30 a.m. on Monday. So it was kind of weird. But no, I guess that's. And what was also strange. Going to Tokyo took 9.5 hours from Honolulu. Coming back from Tokyo to Honolulu took 6.5.
oh, wow, that's a big
Big
So-
tailwind.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was very weird when we got on the plane and the pilot said, "Oh, flight time is 6.5 hours." I'm like, okay, so it's time travel and it's like warp speed, or we're going through a vortex, a wormhole. I don't know, but it was really weird. But I'm already planning my next trip to Tokyo. I'm already planning my next trip to Tokyo because I have to go back. I have to go back. And I know it seems like this far off exotic place. It's really doable if you put a little effort in and a little advanced planning. Tokyo is a really doable trip and a lot more reasonable in terms of price than you would think. We're going to talk about all that on the 24th, and I'm really excited. Really, really excited.
Yeah. Well, thanks for calling in, Pete. We appreciate it. So I know everyone's
No
missed
problem.
you.
I'm going back to my morning coffee.
Excellent. Well, we will see you very soon. So have safe travels
All
tomorrow.
right. Good seeing you guys.
Bye.
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 Okay. Well, with that all being said, I realized I introduced Pete, but I did not introduce anyone else who's in this room. So we'll start with those 10 minutes into the show introductions right now. And I am joined at the table by Charles Boda.
Hello.
Jackie Gailey.
Hi, everybody.
Steve Porter.
Hello.
Julie Martin.
Hi.
And Rhino Clavin.
Hello.
You already saw him, so you know that. I think you've heard everyone's voice at this point, though, so it's all good. So that will take us back into our normally scheduled programming that we have here. So we all know now Pete is in Hawaii. He'll be back for the marathon show that will be happening Saturday, November 24th from 10 a.m. to 10 p.m. And not before that. So, of course, that's going to be the big kickoff date for our big fundraiser for Give Kids the World that we're having. I was just trying to
Big
find
salad.
I was trying to find the big words to go along with it, and they just weren't coming. So that's sad. But yeah, we're going to kick off our fundraiser that day for Give Kids the World.
Kick Kids the World.
Not sure what that is. Give Kids the World, where we're going to be auctioning off a ton of stuff, not like live on the air auction with the auctioneer and all that. It's going to be a silent auction. We will have the links for you, hopefully soon. I think Steve went out to the Welcome Center yesterday to start inputting data. And
There's close to 500 items. It's like, 400 and something items. And there's a lot of cool stuff. Yeah.
I know. I still have to donate a pair of socks that I found last night with a hole in them. So someone out there probably wants my holy socks.
Are they Disney
I think they
socks?
got a lot of those already.
Hey, my holier socks are holier than yours. So,
Holy guacamole.
yeah, there we go. That is fun. So, yeah, there's lots of great items. We listed a lot of them off last week, the ones that we thought were highlights. Steve, you weren't here. Did anything catch you off guard as a highlight?
I think there's a Han Solo.
Yeah, we already talked about
Okay.
it.
Old news, Steve.
Yeah. Okay, so
Did you talk
no other
about the
highlights.
Bob Gurr signed poster?
No,
There's
we
a
did
Haunted
not.
Mansion and a Raleigh Crump signed poster and
Yeah.
some cool stuff.
Yeah, there's a lot of cool stuff. So that auction will be open for a week, so you have plenty of time to do your bidding or have someone do their
Your bidding for you.
It's very ominous.
And yep, no, it's sometimes things just play off perfectly like that. And yeah, a ton of cool stuff for you. So if you didn't already do all your Black Friday shopping on that Friday, maybe you'll still have some money left over to help support Give Kids the World. So
You
And
don't
if
need
not-
Nobody needs a Black Friday shop. Nobody.
nobody, yeah. I'm not going to buy like 30 movies on Black Friday.
Me
I'm not going to. Right. But yeah, so we are looking forward to everyone tuning into that as we got the teaser. Pete's going to be talking about Hawaii, going to talk about Tokyo. I feel like we've already discussed a lot of things we're going to discuss on that show as a team, or maybe we haven't, and I'm just making it up in my head.
You got to
But
leave a few surprises there.
I think there's going to be like probably 6 hours of surprises. Yeah.
Surprises are fun.
There's going to be some question answering.
There should be a talent hour.
I wanted the same thing,
I'm doing
and I don't
baton
have a
twirling.
talent, so I don't know why I wanted that. Just,
Could you play the cups like Sandra Bullock?
I cannot.
Oh, I've
Wait, I
seen
thought
Miss
that was Anna Kendrick.
Congeniality. No, Miss Congeniality. She does that.
Yes,
Play
Miss Congeniality is the
them
original.
Oh.
So
Get that out of here.
not banging a cup.
Nope.
Yeah, so that's going to be really, really fun. So, and in preparation for that, again, no show next week, next Tuesday. So that we also won't have a Universal show on Thursday. All the other scheduled shows will go up in some videos here, there, in between. Does anyone else have any housekeeping?
Yeah.
Okay, it better be important.
Oh. Well, it's not really,
What is
but
it?
I just wanted to let people know there's a I posted, if you're a Patreon supporter, there's an exclusive vlog on there for you that got posted over the last 2 days or so, and then this morning there was a early release in there as well. So if any of you are out there listening, you got something to watch and look at later after the show too. So the entertainment just keeps on coming here.
Sure it does. So, any other housekeeping?
Oh God, I get to see John Stamos in December.
I know.
I'm
We're
so
going to the show
excited.
right after you.
Oh.
You're in the 5:45, right?
Yeah, because we were having a hard time choosing someone to see because we kind of don't want to see the same person. So when he texted me and said John Stamos, I was like, yes, Uncle Jesse.
Definitely.
That's Kylie and I said the exact same thing. So
Yeah.
I'm sure you'll have the stay most wonderful time.
Who was the one who said they didn't understand the appeal of John Stamos?
Me.
Was it
You
what?
are.
Oh boy.
Okay, I just
Well-
needed to make sure who we cut off from now on. So
That's okay.
let's go ahead and mute that. one.
I don't.
Everyone is entitled to be attracted to who they're attracted to. That's okay.
I said it
I'm-
last week. I'll say it again. He's a very handsome gentleman.
I'm
He
not.
is.
I'm not judging it by his physical features, and
You should.
I'm I think everybody else does. That's the problem. He's an ageless, handsome statue, and everybody's just like, "Oh, it's just great to have him around. He can reach the stuff on the shelves." And
I mean,
He plays with the Beach Boys too.
oh,
You don't like the Beach Boys?
This has
I do
gotten-
not.
This has gotten out of control.
Oh my
Yeah.
gosh.
Okay. So what we've learned here today, Charles is cut off, and everyone should be judged by their physical attributes.
I've been cut off.
I might as well go under the table.
I've been cut off at better places than this.
Fantastic. Okay, well, with that, for all the people out there who are complaining, we're going on 16 minutes of housekeeping right now. We're going to go ahead and scoot on over to the news, because I know that's what you came for, not fun interaction with a team of friends. Who cares about that? Why don't we just talk about the news? And we're going to start with not a fun story
No.
to kick it off, and that is that a woman was arrested at Epcot and is facing child abuse charges. So, guests at Walt Disney World allegedly witnessed a woman dragging her crying child by a harness in an Epcot bathroom last Tuesday night, and it resulted in the child hitting his or her head in the incident, because we don't know the sex of the child, at least as the time that this was written. So deputies responded after receiving a 911 call and found the mother, 34-year-old Susan Villar, pushing a baby stroller with at least one child inside. When questioned by the authorities, Villar refused to give her name and said, "I just want to leave the park." Villar was not cooperative with the officers and maneuvered the stroller in an aggressive manner, which led to at least one child falling out. We need to change that in the story. It says which lead.
Which led to?
What?
Yeah. Lead, as in the lead, the precious metal lead. Is that a little precious metal? Never mind.
No, it should be. You're right.
After refusing to identify herself or cooperate with deputies, she was escorted to a patrol vehicle, which she struck with her head with enough force to leave a dent. She was
She's-
arrested for child abuse
she did
and
that?
criminal
Okay, that is
mischief.
my question. She did her own head into the car,
Oh my gosh.
and that's what I understand.
Yeah.
Like, it sounds like they're saying she headbutted the police
No.
car, right?
That's
Yeah,
what it sounded
yeah,
like,
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
How do you not knock yourself out cold after headbutting a police car and leaving a dent?
Oh, you can totally do that. But
I mean, if
Well,
you're on
let's-
some sort of.
Let's move over to our witness on
Altering.
headbutting stuff. Charles Boda.
I mean, unless you're on a substance that has maybe altered your chemical balance.
the thing is, although it doesn't say anything about her being intoxicated, but they did take her, I believe, to a mental health facility after that. It's obviously, it's not one of those cases where, like you can just judge the parent and be like, wow, they're terrible. I'd never do that. It seems from the way it's written and what the police report said that she's mentally ill.
Yeah.
Yeah. This is overall,
It's a very
regardless of those
traumatic
things,
story.
this is scary. So I'm glad that guests were actually paying attention
Yes.
to what was happening and did something about it. So that's the reason why I wanted to actually bring this up, was more or less as a PSA that there's a lot of messed up things that happen in Disney parks, and there are instances where, I guess some people could just let it slide and be like, oh, but we saw them. They were stopping at 5 or 6 different countries drinking, and they're just embarrassing themselves, and leave it at that. But if you see something, you really need to say something in a situation like this. So this, again, we only know what was put out on paper here, so we don't know the full details of the story. We can only make assumptions, which we probably should not do. But this might have helped a child.
Yes,
by
exactly.
people.
And more than likely, that child was scared.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, it was.
Because they can't do anything. They don't know what's going on.
Because that person is their parent.
Yeah.
And as far as they're concerned, that person is in charge of them no matter how they're acting.
Yeah.
I think your point is Craig's point is especially true with because people being in a Disney park, they put on those blinders, and nothing can go wrong in a Disney park, and according to so many people, just because that's the mindset that you want to approach the parks with, is that it's a fantasy land and this is not real. And so I think when something like this happens, it's different than if it were at your local mall or something where you're used to being in normal life. So you have to be even more aware and more conscious that, like, okay, just because this is Disney World does not make this okay. Let's get to the right people.
Well, and there's oh, sorry, Charles. There's a lot of people that are, when you work with children, you take an oath to watch out for children regardless of where you are. So when you are in a public place, if you see something going on that's abusive to a child, it's your responsibility to call. Not because you can't, people in general can't judge what's going on, but that's why the police are there to make that call. And you have to do it. I mean, you have to. The kids can't speak for themselves.
Well, and if that's how they are on vacation, that's also a scary window in how they might be at home. So you might be helping a deeper issue. It might be the opposite. It might be that they're very tame and that something's not going right and they are suffering from sort of an illness that makes them snap.
Yeah.
But it's just one of those, it's a better safe than sorry scenario.
Yeah,
Exactly.
well, like one of the things that I think everybody's ran into this at some point is it's hard to know where the line is. You're walking around and you see something that makes you uneasy or uncomfortable involving a kid, but it's not your kid and everybody raises them different ways. And, like maybe I'm not supposed to get involved. But the thing is, trust your instincts. Go with your gut. If it feels wrong to you, it probably feels wrong to anybody else. But do you want to go to sleep that night thinking, I could have helped but didn't? Or think, I tried to help and maybe it just wasn't, maybe it wasn't my place, but at least I did my best.
Yeah. And I would absolutely recommend, coming from working at 2 separate theme parks, if you ever see anything like this, try to contact an actual security guard if you can. I'm not trying to say anything about the front of line cast members that, if you're walking past Spaceship Earth and that's where it happened. Sometimes those cast members don't have immediate access to call off to anyone else. They're not allowed to leave their positions. They could get in trouble for abandoning, and it might stop and end there. So try to find a manager or someone from security if at all possible. If you have to tell multiple people, just keep telling everyone until someone responds to it. Always run into a gift shop. They always have easy access to phones and other communications. So don't just also be like, oh, I told this one person right there, and think that will sometimes help. Sometimes it will not at all, depending on where you're actually at. So just, everyone's there to have fun. Everyone wants it to be a magical vacation, and keep an eye out on that because something like this could happen, and you could be able to help a child, anyone who's in a bad situation. It doesn't have to be that. It could be couples fighting. It could be all families fighting. It could be anyone, strangers. So just keep an eye out for that thing. And we will move on to even more sad news. So we're going with the sad train today. And this one is, I think it's sad, but at the same time, too, he was 95 years old.
He lived a good life.
He lived a very good life, a very long life. And obviously, I'm alluding to the fact that Stan Lee passed away yesterday. So, of course, if you don't know who Stan Lee is, he is the Marvel Comics co-creator, and he is pretty much well known for all the iconic characters that he's created, from Spider-Man to the X-Men, Thor, Iron Man, Black Panther, Fantastic Four. The man was inducted as a Disney legend in 2017, and pretty much solely for the fact that Disney just bought Marvel, and why not make him a Disney legend? So that should show you how important it is if you still haven't heard about him at this date. And yeah, he was 95 years old. He has had such an impact on the entertainment industry as a whole with everything he's touched. And this is a huge, huge loss in the world. So he was definitely a special type of person out there. I had the chance to get my photo with him one time, and it was a pleasant experience. I had an old boss at Universal that was very close with Stan Lee, and some of the stories that he shared with Kylie about Stan Lee are just like so endearing. The fact that he would come to Universal even into his 90s and want to go ride The Amazing Adventures of Spider-Man is like blows my mind.
Wow.
And if you've been on it, you know how
I don't even want to ride
rough
that.
it is.
I'm scared of that. I've seen videos.
Intense.
Yeah, and he loved it. He loved everything that he helped to create. And I know this is probably big for you, Charles, because you're a huge comic book fan.
Yeah. This is not a grieving day for me. He was 95. And the great thing about it is that he got to see the entire process, the process that he started. He got to see that these characters that have had so much of an impact on a lot of our lives, he got to see them become world famous. And it's not about selling money or anything like that. It's about seeing that legacy spread. Little kids right now dressed in Spider-Man costumes and stuff like that, that's not stopping. It's getting stronger and it's getting better. And he got to see where that was going.
Unlike Walt Disney, you know?
But there are a lot of parallels between the two of them, right? The same way that people talk about World of Color, Wonderful World of Color and stuff, and seeing Disney back when he was on TV and hearing that straight from him. That's what Stan Lee was for me growing up. But there's also part of it where, for a lot of us, comic books were a niche thing. They weren't popular. And Stan Lee was the face. He was the voice. He was the guy who spoke to us. That was that voice, that Hello True Believers, Excelsior, Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man stuff. That is the only voice that I heard like talking about comics. It was like my grandfather telling me stories kind of thing. And for a lot of us, we didn't have any presence in entertainment. We grew up sitting there talking in basements and comic book stores about this. And Stan Lee was the guy. He was the one famous comic book guy. And he loved it. And he had this enthusiasm. And he cared the way that we cared about his creations. And that link that, that is something that much like Walt, when people talk about theme parks, they think of Disney. When people talk about comic books, they think of Stan Lee. He is the face of comics, not just Marvel Comics at this point. And, that is a life well lived. That is a legacy that nobody is going to be able to achieve in that industry ever. He cemented himself, and he got to see that happen. And so a death at 95 after living that kind of life, this is a great story. It didn't end with us finding out terrible things or any controversy. It ended with a guy seeing his dream to fruition, and that is awesome to me.
It's how everybody wants. Don't you want to die at 95 or 100 years old and looking back on your life and feeling proud of what you have done for all of that time?
307.
Everybody wants to do that, but not everybody gets to do that,
That's right.
Just a quick plug, by the way. Our featured article is me expounding more on Stan Lee. So if you want to hear me talk forever about it or write forever about it, feel free to give that a check out. It's on the site right now.
My thing about Stan Lee is that, he is more than just a guy who made comic book characters that we love. It's that, he made complicated comic book characters who had problems. It was like Spider-Man was a kid that was picked on and bullied, and things never go for Spider-Man's way, and like the X-Men, if you're, an outsider, an outcast, or, I know a lot of people like myself and like the LGBT community, like that's sort of a thing that you're very drawn to the X-Men because it's a group of like people that didn't fit in to like society. And like, I know nowadays people get very like upset if you use like social justice warrior or anything like that. But Stan Lee was a guy who never let discrimination, like he saw something like that and went, okay, well then I'm going to create these superhuman people that can show you like how this is wrong, and like
that it's okay to be different.
That it's okay to be different, and being different is your superpower.
Yep.
And I think there's a lot.
Rhino, I preach that all the time because today I literally went to Ferris's classroom and educated them about Down syndrome. And that is my main message, is that he is more like you than he is different. Even though there are things that are different about him, he is still a person just like you.
Yeah.
So I get it, Rhino.
Yeah.
And that, like, those things are the mark of somebody who is an icon, is a legend, is, the things you've mentioned, the things that I've mentioned numerous times about the effect comics have had on me. Real life decisions come from that. That does shape the world. Maybe not in the grandest scheme in the world and like in history, but it does, it changes outcomes. It changes beliefs. It changes effects. Those creations, it's not just entertainment. It is entertainment, and that's great, but it's more than that. Reading X-Men, causes me when everybody talks about hating and fearing somebody when they say this group of people is wrong. X-Men is one of those reasons why I have to turn around and be like, maybe I better look into that because maybe this group of people isn't as bad as everybody is saying. Maybe I should help this person out. Real life decisions come from that. It's not just an album or a song or anything. And so that an icon, a legend, whatever you want to call it, we say this about a lot of entertainment people when they pass. But Stan Lee has a profound effect, or his creations have had a profound effect on like real life decisions and the way people live their lives, and that's amazing.
I think with his passing, one of the things that he can be, one of the fortunate things for him is that all these messages that he's created will go on. The comics are not going to go away with his passing, and so he has created a library of, tools for future generations to all these things that you're talking about with, inclusiveness and everything, that those will go on to future kids, and it doesn't end here. So I don't know. That's, one of the bright notes from all the sadness.
And the last thing I'll add in is one of the things that I didn't always believe in before, but now I preach. If you ever have the chance to meet a legend or see them in any way, shape, or form, go for it. You don't need to buy 3 of those Toy Story Land alien Christmas popcorn buckets. That's gonna be just dusty in 5 years.
And take
in a
up too
closet
much
or
room in your cabinet.
Take the popcorn money and stuff like that, put it towards going to see a concert from that one band that you'll regret one day if they break up or someone passes away. And
Julie wholeheartedly agrees.
I got to hug Gwen Stefani.
And that's for I'm excited. I've been lucky enough to see a lot of the people I deem legends. So I've seen Paul McCartney. I've seen Elton John. I get to see him again in a couple weeks. Billy Joel's coming down for only one show in January. He's on my list of people that I'm dying to see.
He's a good one.
There's I do that at conventions. I got to meet Tim Curry, got to meet Stan Lee, Rhino,
Jeff
Kylie, and I
Goldblum.
just got to meet Jeff Goldblum very recently. And I also met the cast of The Princess Bride, just stuff like that.
Yeah.
It's when you really step back and look at it, you can spend money on this crap that's just going to sit on a shelf, or you can go and put that money towards experience. And if you want that crap on the shelves too, that's on you. But I think about some of these experiences, especially going to D23 and being able to say I sat in that auditorium and I got to see the entire cast of Star Wars come out
with J.J. Abrams
and Harrison Ford and all of them, and that means more to me looking back on that memory than the piece of crap not Toy Story Test Track little play action set that I have on my shelf, and I'm like, that was $40. I could have done so much more with that $40. So that's all I recommend, because some of these legends, as they get older, you don't know how long they're going to be around. So take those opportunities when you have a chance.
Well, and you know what? It means a lot to them too, because I met Dick Van Dyke at at D23, like we all know, but he was, and you get nervous when you meet them, and maybe they're not going to be who you think they are, but maybe they're more than who you think they are. Like Craig talked about Jeff Goldblum, but shaking Dick Van Dyke's hand and being able to say hey, thanks for bringing, so much happiness and love into our home. And he was like, well, I was happy to do it. And he laughed, and you're like, I'll always have that little moment, So you always have that.
Exactly. So moving on to Greetery now, the Walt Disney Company fourth quarter earnings report shows that Disney has been getting some record revenue. So they released this last Thursday as we were all getting ready to start Mickey's Very Merry Christmas Party and getting super busy with that. And Bob Iger said in a statement, "We're very pleased with our financial performance in fiscal 2018, delivering record revenue, net income, and earnings per share. We remain focused on the successful completion and integration of our 21st Century Fox acquisition and the further development of our direct-to-consumer business." Direct-to-consumer, including the highly anticipated launch of our Disney-branded streaming service late next year. So, of course, we could go over all the earnings, but usually when they are released, we only talk about the ones that are most important to us, and that is pretty much parks and resorts, and then we sometimes throw in studio entertainment, which we will today because that was a big part of the growth. But Parks and Resorts saw a 9% growth in revenue and 11% growth in operating income for the fourth quarter. Then also 10% growth in revenues and 18% growth in operating income for the fiscal year, while Studio Entertainment saw 50% growth in revenues and 173% growth in operating income for the fourth quarter, then 19% growth in revenues and 27% growth in operating income for the fiscal year. So just absolutely massive. With Parks and Resorts, the growth in operating income was due to an increase in guest spending as well as attendance at the domestic parks, but operating income for international parks were flat with growth at Disneyland Paris and Hong Kong Disneyland, but Shanghai Disney was the big issue there. And here in the studio entertainment side of thing, obviously Incredibles 2 was kind of a big movie, just a little bit, as well as Ant-Man and the Wasp. And last year in the fourth quarter, all they had was Cars 3 to base that on, with no Marvel film or anything. So that's going to do it for you. And entertainment was really high as well too, with the Blu-ray releases and on demand, all that, of Avengers Infinity War Solo, and last year before that it was just Guardians Volume 2 and Beauty and the Beast. So just an absolute juggernaut of a year for Disney. We talk about crowds at parks and stuff, so anytime you see that there was attendance growth and increase in spending, it's like, okay, yeah, I can pretty much figure that out just based on what I'm seeing here. So I don't know really what else to say on it, but good for them.
I mean, I'll say this. Next year, or leaning into a little bit after that, when everything we've been waiting for opens up, I'm interested to see what the percentages are when both Star Wars are open, all the Disney World hotels are open that are being constructed. It's going to be, if that's 9%, you said? Mm-hmm. I mean, I can't imagine what it's going to be when Star Wars is open.
Wait a minute. Did we not talk about that earnings? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Just checking.
Shut your mouth.
You shut it.
Unless we just want to move there now. You have anything to say, Charles?
Yeah, just one of the things is that remember that they did do that strategic reorganization of the company. So the numbers are going to look a little weird, I think, once they start using the new categories. For instance, that direct-to-consumer and international is going to take chunks of other ones of these. So the comparison might not be as flat as it is right now, 1-to-1. But it's pretty clear that they had a bunch of reports over the last couple of years where they were down and they were low, and they're like, oh, well, stay with us. We're going to see these investments turn around and stuff like that. That BAM Tech purchase and all that. They're starting to see that turn around and come back a little. And in 2019, it's going to be even more extreme. They're going to start to see a payoff, assuming that streaming service does pretty well.
2020, though, right? Because isn't their thing October to October? So, Star Wars here won't happen till their 2020.
Exactly.
Yeah, okay. Yeah. That's right. Because I remember Iger said that 2019 wasn't going to look amazing because it's going to be the pullback right before the tidal wave.
Well, Disney World Star Wars, though. Galaxy's Edge.
That's true.
Disneyland, it will fall, assuming, unless a lot of stuff goes wrong, it should fall into their fiscal 2019. But the other big news during the quarter release and call and everything was that we finally have a name for the streaming service. And I'm surprised we couldn't get this one. It's going to be Disney Plus.
I'm pretty sure
Disney
somebody
Plus
had
what?
guessed that.
Disney Plus what?
Disney Plus what?
Disney Plus what?
In the
No, don't you go there.
What was the there was that one that people published and then retracted. I think it was Disney Now or something. Disney
Play, right? Or no?
That's the Parks app.
Disney Now is already, I believe, is the name of the streaming, or not the streaming, but the app that you can get on like Apple TV and your phones and such.
Remember they said it was going to be like like a month ago or something? I felt like the name that they thought it was going to be that long ago was better than this name.
That's why I was wondering. I was trying to remember what they put out a name and then had to retract it.
If it's as good as FastPass Plus, then
we are in for a treat.
Yes, with Disney Plus. New programming mentioned also included Rogue One, a Star Wars story prequel starring Diego Luna.
Can we talk about that for a hot second?
Well, yes, please.
No
Okay,
need.
so I know they announced
need.
that as being like a big like pull in. There's another show that Craig was going to get to before I just cut him off, The Mandalorian, which is the one that John Favreau is making, all about the Boba Fett like warriors,
Mandalorians.
the Mandalorians. So
From Planet Mandalore.
my thing is then they come along and they name this Diego Luna, and I love Diego Luna, but he's not nice in the beginning of Rogue One. He kills that guy in the alley, and so you're going to make a prequel series that stars Diego Luna as just being a jerk the entire time, and we already know you bite it on a space planet that looks like Florida.
Well, yeah, but that was the whole point of Rogue One is you knew they were all going to.
I know, but it's what I'm saying. So now there's a TV show that's literally going to lead in. So you're like, why am I invested? I already know you're all going to be dead.
I don't get why we look at like, hey, who's the most famous, one of the most famous Star Wars characters, Han Solo. How does prequel do? Hey, who's not one of the most famous Star Wars characters? Diego Luna's dude. Oh, well, let's make a whole prequel series. That'll do great.
I would have preferred a Han Solo, them continuing that story from the Solo movie into a TV show. I would have been happy
Well,
with that.
I enjoy Diego Luna, and I'm excited that we're getting just more Star Wars and a different character, and taking someone of a different heritage and putting him on a bigger stage than
It'll be interesting.
more Han Solo stuff. So I think it's good.
You're a bit of a Diego lunatic.
I love his character in the second Kingsman.
Wait a minute. Who is he in the second Kingsman?
Is
he the guy with the rope?
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
Oh, he's good in that.
Yeah, he
he's
is.
real good.
So, and Jolie's out. And then
I'm lost. I have no
Same.
idea what you guys are
also
talking about.
a Loki series featuring Tom Hiddleston.
I know
So,
that people will be crazy about that.
I'll watch that.
good things to know with the Disney Plus streaming service will be that Bob Iger is not planning on disrupting the theatrical window that's happening with that. So if you don't know what I'm talking about, they could choose to say, you know what, we'll do a tighter window in terms of how long it's out in theaters. So that way we can get it over to the app so more people want to subscribe to it. But they're going to, as Bob Iger said, if it ain't broke. So they're very happy with how their approach right now is to releasing movies in theaters. So it's not going to change anytime soon.
But they are making exclusive movies to the app as well, though, right?
Yes, like the Anna Kendrick Santa Claus movie and
Lady and the Tramp, the live-action Lady and the Tramp, too. I know that.
Stuff like that. So they're just hyping it up more, direct to consumer. And that's just keep that in the back of your mind all the time because that is going to be big for the next couple years.
And I
DTC.
wanna-
Bob Iger has it tattooed across his chest.
I feel vindicated. I looked it up, and people thought it was Disney Play.
Oh, okay.
So there was confusion. Apparently, they probably just thought it was the app and were confused.
Yep. Okay, well, that is going to do it for the news. We're going to move on to Roundtable Rapid Fire, and we are going to start with Charles.
Okay. I have it right here. I'm new to sitting directly to the right of the host.
Someone dropped their hot dogs in the grass.
Yeah, the
Terrible place to put 'em.
Casey's Corner to celebrate the holidays with the 12 days of Christmas dogs. So basically, Casey's is taking this year's dogs and putting them out for 12 days. So you've seen these before, but this starts on the 14th and ends on the 25th. I'm not going to name every day.
Oh, you have to actually sing them all.
Sing them
On
all.
the first day of hot dogs, Casey's gave to me.
You surprised me a little with that voice. I don't.
That was like the Victorian version.
I don't have those chops. December 14th, pineapple teriyaki dog. I'm not.
Yeah. You're right. You're right.
Craig should sing.
So anyway, you've got your pineapple teriyaki dog on the 14th, buffalo chicken dog on the 15th, Greek dog on the 16th, Cuban dog on the 17th, Aztec dog on the 18th, Philly cheesesteak dog on the 19th, Casey's classic dog on the 20th.
I'm sorry, wasn't an Aztec dog a human sacrifice?
There'll be a finger in there.
It's sweet and spicy ground beef and creamy white elote mixed with spicy lime mayonnaise and grafted
elote?
Parmesan
I
cheese.
love elote.
Yeah.
Elote.
Street corn.
So 21st is the cheesy dog, 22nd the jalapeno popper dog, 23rd is the loaded mashed potato dog, 24th is the poutine dog, and December 25th all the way through January
Please
1st.
is it the Jesus dog? Please tell me it is.
Just bread and wine.
It is not. It's just the it's the 2 foot long hot dog.
If ever there was a hot dog that Craig and I could go into on either side.
No,
I'll
I-
bite the middle of that. I'm
it needs
2 foot long. 2 foot long.
It needs to have an asterisk on it because it is a 2 foot long bun with 2 foot long hot dogs inside.
That's disappointing.
Not
so
okay.
yeah,
So they didn't make a 2 foot long hot dog.
no. They,
Come on, Disney.
until they get their scientists out there to craft it all together.
Get the casing on
I'm not against it. And after Tim Tracker did it a couple months ago, back he had this and then the 2 foot long dog at Universal at the Hot Dog Hall of Fame. He said that the Hot Dog Hall of Fame one was better anyways. So I'm not getting in on that 2 foot dog until they make changes. But Rhino and I have tried several of these dogs throughout the year, and
Some were delicious.
I like them. Yeah. So if you have the chance to get out and have a hot dog, it'll make those awful crowds seem so much better because you have a special hot dog.
I was going to say, I was like, I love the idea of this, and I was like, oh, this would make a really cool challenge. And I was like, one of these is Christmas Day. I'm good.
The Jesus dog, as Julie has decreed.
Deemed it.
It's been spoken. Thank you, Charles. Excellent singing. Jackie.
So I wanted to tell you guys about something that I thought was really cool that started a few weeks ago at Rose and Crown at the at Epcot's World Showcase, and they now offer a tea experience that is complete with brew tips, scones, and sandwiches. And so it's really kind of sounds pretty cool to me. I used to live, in Seattle, so we used to go to Victoria and we used to do high tea sometimes, pretty fun. The only place that I've known about to do it at Disney is at the Grand Floridian. So, and that's, it's kind of fancy, but it's not, it is, but it's not, but it's nice to have another option. So this one, they've got a Twinings trained cast member there that will teach you about the different blends of tea along with how to get the blend just right. And it's
I bet he's a
available.
good teacher.
Yeah, a teacher.
See,
Yes.
it's spelled different because tea. See,
You're ready with the puns today.
I'm disappointed in myself.
I'm not. I think that was great. So it's available on Fridays, Saturdays, and Sundays, and it begins at 9:45 a.m. The cost is $30 a person, and it includes tea tasting, sandwiches, and scones, like I said. It has very limited capacity, so they do strongly recommend reservations. Now, and I did want to tell you that starting on April 22nd of 2019, the price goes up to $35. So this isn't like a little limited time kind of a test. They've
It's going
already
on for a while.
Yeah, so it's pretty cool.
It sounds
Pretty
cool to me. I love
Yeah.
tea.
Oh, I do too.
Yeah,
Don't
me
make
I would
tea
do it,
very
and
often.
it sounds relatively cheap.
Yeah, $30
It's
bucks.
an inexpensive little extra thing you could do.
Yeah, and you can call it lunch, really, because my husband and
Or
I.
snack.
Yeah. We did for our 20-year wedding anniversary. We went to the Grand Floridian and did the high tea there, and it was lunch. It was great. It was such a fun experience. So
I've done it there. I think it'd be really cool to do it here.
me too. Yeah, I'm excited about this one.
Let's go do it
I
Okay.
like her rapid fire.
right now. Well, next time you should choose it. Yours is
Well-
fun too, though. People are going to love it. They will. If they don't already know about it, they will. I promise. Thank you, Jackie.
You're welcome.
Steve.
Okay, I didn't have a lot to choose from, but
we know.
Yeah. I have that ABC's Good Morning America this week is celebrating Mickey's worldwide birthday bash. It's been started on Monday and it goes till Friday. They have GMA's Ginger Z and Disney superfan Patrice Jenkins, an Illinois teacher. They are going around to all the parks doing a countdown to Mickey's 90th birthday, which will be on November 18th. They're going to visit Disneyland, Walt Disney World, Tokyo Disneyland, Disneyland Paris, Hong Kong Disneyland, and Shanghai. Yeah, if you are interested in that, check it out. It's on Good Morning America this week. You might have missed Monday and Tuesday's episodes already. But like I said, I didn't have a lot to choose from. So there you go.
Thank you, Steve. Julie.
You're welcome.
Okay, so Walt Disney World pass holders are going to be receiving a free magnet during the Festival of the Holidays.
You got to go get it.
Yeah, you do. They're not going to send it to you, FYI. So your opportunity will be when the 2018 Epcot International Festival of the Holidays begins on November 18th. This magnet will feature a festive Goofy. You can visit Mouse Gear or the port of entry on your first visit to the festival to receive your free magnet. You will also find other exclusive merchandise for pass holders, as well as treats that will be available for purchase during the festival. And then you can also visit the Taste Track. Yeah, that's right. Okay. Taste Track for a Goofy gingerbread cookie or merchandise locations throughout the park for your annual pass holder ornaments, t-shirts, and more that will feature Chip and Dale. This will only be through December 30th.
It's about time that Goofy got one of these magnets. That's what I'm going to say.
My son said the same thing.
Well, if the picture that we have, festive, I would not describe that as festive. It has snowflakes.
Yeah, it's definitely signaling a certain time frame of the year.
Put a Santa hat on him.
Yeah, I prefer it this way because, like, I don't want something that has Christmas all over it necessarily.
Yeah, I guess magnets don't stick to my car.
I
So.
don't want them being stolen off my car, so they're all adorning my fridge,
That happened
Me
to
too.
Eli.
That's where ours are too.
and I love them.
When we went to the Contemporary the other day, we came back, 2 were missing.
Yeah,
wow.
I've been saying this now for months and months and months. If you want them to be on your car, then you need to glue them down. Otherwise, they're going to get stolen on Disney property. Don't put them on your cars. Just
People
don't.
are horrible.
Well, I mean, people stand in line to get them. So, of course, there's going to be horrible people out there that...
Well, see, the thing is, I'm making kind of a creative coffee table thing, and I need a lot of magnets to go, like, underneath the lacquer. So I've been stealing all of yours.
Oh yeah, no. I was bored yesterday, so I was just stealing people's their cutting boards as they were running out of Epcot with them. No one noticed.
Just tripping them and taking them.
Zoink. You'll never notice. It's so small. I'm joking. I have better things to do on a Monday. Thank you, Jolie.
Okay.
Rhino.
Okay, so the Disney Parks blog has revealed all of the novelty. I can't do 2 things at once. All of the novelty Mickey-themed eats and treats that will be available
Then how
across
do you
the
work
Walt
for this
Disney
company?
World. Now Pete is in the room. To celebrate Mickey's 90 years of... Julie, you threw me off.
Sorry, Rhino, but you left it wide open.
Start the show over, Rhino.
Story of my life.
Man
Okay.
up.
There are a whole lot of specialty items that, and most of them will be available November. I cannot read. November 16th through the 18th at Walt Disney World, and the 17th through the 18th at Disneyland Resort.
He's squinting so much.
There are. I have French Stewart eyes, and you know that about me. There is the Birthday Bash Push Pop, the Confetti Mickey Pretzel, the Mickey Cheeseburger, which somebody just burns Mickey Mouse into the top of it.
Oh.
But then it's also...
There's like 6 different types of cheeses on there.
yeah, macaroni and cheese, American cheese, cheese sauce, spicy cheese. Cheese Louise. Cheese.
Cheese the wheeze. My
then
kids
there's-
used to say cheese the wheeze.
Then there is the there's like the mini kitchen sink sundae, which I feel like they've had, but maybe now it's Minnie and not Mickey. The things are falling apart in the studio. There's the cheesy hot
scaring
diggity
me.
dog, which is the all beef hot dog topped with cheddar, queso, and seasoned cheese puffs. The Steamboat
Cheese
Willie
puffs.
cookie and cream cheesecake. Oh my goodness, there's so many.
Rhino, you are aware there are like 40
There-
food items in
I
that
wasn't
article,
until I scrolled further down.
No more
and-
scrolling.
Okay, those are the more interesting ones. The rest of the things are a lot of cupcakes.
Disneyland's got
mo-
churros.
mostly
Cupcakes.
mostly cupcakes.
You
it
would
looks
think
like,
that
so.
they could have ordered some Mickey Mouse shaped hamburger buns and patties.
No.
Yeah, they'll save it for his 100th.
Yeah, it's the
That'd be pretty
90s,
cute.
not a milestone.
Yeah. If you were a real mouse, it would be like a live mouse, a 90-year-old live mouse. That'd be a milestone.
Oh, that'll be a discussion for next week's show.
I think the
And
thing
Mickey is alive.
that
I
people-
mean, he's
In our hearts.
yes.
I
Finish.
think the thing that people are going to be most after will be this Mickey Mouse sipper that everyone's been seeing popping up everywhere. It's the one where he's like, "Hey, I'm Mickey," and he's got a little birthday hat on that you sip
Good
through.
impression. I liked it.
But
Yeah, wait, what
he's-
is he like again?
Good Lord, I am going to finish a sentence on the show without people talking over me.
And if they don't have it here, it's really good that we're talking up this item that you can't get in Walt Disney World.
That's what I was about to say.
If only people would let me finish my sentence, we would have learned that. I'm done.
We'll talk about it on next week's Disneyland show, which will release
I
one day
refuse.
after this all happens.
Refuse.
Oh, Rhino. It's okay.
I'm just going to mute everyone's microphones. Let's see how you like that. Matt.
It's going to be okay. You can finish.
No, I'm done.
We'll let you finish.
Oh, I'm done. Stick a fork in me. I'm done. Or as Chandler says, eat me. I'm done.
I think he's done, guys. He's finally done. We
He'll
finally
be
broke him.
back.
Yeah. Well, that's exciting though. I wish I could get out there and celebrate Mickey Mouse, but unfortunately, I'll be sitting in the Contemporary for basically 2 straight days during Destination D, which is happening this weekend. So someone else is going to have to go have that Mickey fun for me. I vote for the only person in the room wearing a Mickey shirt right now.
How dare you?
I actually had to think about it.
Because his is blocked by speakers right now. It's like there's nobody.
But that's an awesome shirt that he's got on there.
Well, yeah, everybody thinks it's part of the celebration, and I got this for my birthday this year, January 1st. So it's like the Mickey with the gold. Everybody made fun of it back then. Everybody wants it now.
fantastic.
It's for somebody's birthday. It applies.
Oh no, we made fun of it back
Yeah.
then too because
Kylie
he was
was
also
like, "Do
trying to
not
buy
buy
the
it."
women's clothing.
Kylie was like, I don't think those are for you.
Well, they can be.
Okay, well, I'm going to throw in one last bit of rapid fire-ish type stuff, and that's just because Jackie brought my attention to an email that John sent to us right before the show that I did not see, and that is the big Dreams Unlimited Travel 20th anniversary party that we are having in Pandora, the World of Avatar, next August. It is 80% sold out as of this time, and I know it's even... things are crazy with the hotels too. So if you're not jumping on this right now, then you're probably going to miss out. I don't think any of us expected it to start filling up this fast. So it's great for us, bad for people out there who want to attend. They might miss out on it. So please get in on this right now. But that's it for Rapid Fire. We are going to move on from that and into our topic of discussion, and that is this year's Mickey's Very Merry Christmas Party. And we are going to start out this conversation with a little bit of a video that we have done by one of our contributors, Philip Kelly, sorry. And it's an amazing video. You might have seen it up at youtube.com/WDWinfo, which if you're listening to this, not watching, you can watch it there. But as for the rest of us, we're going to go take a look at it right now. Okay, that was our little look at Mickey's Very Merry Christmas Party. Again, that video is done by one of our contributors, Philip Kelly. He is absolutely amazing. I also recommend going on Instagram, checking out him and his wife, Hey Team Kelly. They do a lot of great work and just really, really talented, really amazing. But we are going to talk about Mickey's Very Merry Christmas Party, not in super tons of detail, just kind of go over what the highlights were for us, what the highlights were in general. And so why don't we just begin that? Mickey's Very Merry Christmas Party, of course, is on select nights now through the end of December, not the complete end of December, because starting December 22nd, that's when it goes into all the time Walt Disney World Christmas fun throughout the rest of Christmas. And if you do want to go to the parties, tickets are generally right around $100, and they get a lot more expensive than I think the most expensive night is like $120, maybe even $130. It's very expensive, but of course you can use annual pass holder discounts, DVC discounts. There's a discount out there for you, or there's not, and you're paying full price. And that's just sad. Please don't do that. It's too much money. But what does Mickey's Very Merry Christmas Party bring you? It brings you some free goodies. It brings you free entertainment that's not there currently now until you get closer to Christmas. And it's bringing a level of holiday cheer along with it, in my opinion. So let's start off by talking about the atmosphere this year. What's everyone think of it? Was it a good atmosphere? We were there on the first night. We were all working, so we were in a different mindset. It was sold out, and you could feel those crowds, but were we still able to get the holiday feeling out of it?
This is kind of something that I don't know if you guys ran into it. I ran into it more so this year than the past 2 years. I don't know whether it's because of the warmth or the crowds, but I saw a lot of guests not really in the Christmas spirit, a lot of yelling or griping or complaining. I did my best to stay in the Christmas spirit, and I love the atmosphere that Disney provides as far as, you know, decorations and stuff. I loved, and it was great. It's similar this year to others. But as far as crowd atmosphere goes, it did not feel Christmassy. It felt frustrated and maybe people didn't expect that level of congestion, but I saw a lot of people yelling or complaining. And Steve, you and I, right before we left, saw like one of those scenes where, almost like we were talking about earlier in the show, you're watching somebody to know, should we say something yet? Is this going to escalate or not?
It almost got to a point where we were going to say something with a parent yelling at a child, but it didn't quite break that threshold. But I didn't feel like it was super Christmassy either. I will say the crowds weren't as bad to me as the first night. Even though it was sold out both nights, I felt like the crowds weren't as bad on the first night of the Christmas party as they were on the first night of the Halloween party. But wasn't that because they upped the allotment with the Halloween party?
I honestly don't have that insider information, so I'm not going to sit here and pretend that I know what's going on in terms of what the actual allowance of tickets and stuff. Yeah. So there's managers out there that
it just didn't feel as bad. I don't know. Maybe they had the same amount of people, but to me, it did not feel as crowded as the
all
first
I
night
can
of the
say
Halloween party.
is I think with the first Halloween party and that we attended, and just the Halloween party in general, even though the entertainment they tried to pull outside, like Pirates of the Caribbean adding the extra stuff, Space Mountain turning the lights off, that did pull people away from Main Street and the hub. And with the Christmas party for treats, that pulls people away. But other than that, unless you're talking about a totally Tomorrowland Christmas or the Edge Effect a cappella group, there's nothing to pull people away from there. So where with the first Halloween party, I sat myself down, I think 40 minutes before the first parade on Main Street, still got a great spot. This year for the second parade for the Christmas party, Corey and I were there about 50 minutes early for the second parade on Main Street, and we were still behind people and behind a trash can. So
It was tough.
That was where I was seeing a lot of the instances where crowds were definitely staying on Main Street, and it didn't seem like they were leaving, which it makes sense. Why would you? You have the parade there. You have the fireworks there. You have Mickey's Most Merriest Celebration. You have a lot of stuff going on. But as soon as it starts snowing on Main Street, I feel like that's where people instantly change. And it doesn't matter what's going on. When they're playing that holiday music and it starts snowing, it can take even the most miserable people and at least bring a little bit of joy.
Yeah.
I think
So too. I agree with that wholeheartedly, because the first time I saw snow on Main Street was at Disneyland, which they do the snow all throughout the holiday season. It's not just at a Halloween party, but oh my gosh, the atmosphere.
A Christmas party.
What
You
did I
said
say
you said Halloween. Yeah.
Oh,
I'm like,
yeah, because it feels like we went from Halloween to Christmas
right.
immediately. It was so funny how that happened. I'm like, isn't there a month?
they gave us 7 days.
They did, yeah. So the Christmas party was like, I loved seeing Main Street and how it's all dressed up, and the wreaths everywhere and the poinsettias everywhere, and it's so fun to walk in and see the toy soldiers. But oh my gosh, it was hot. I mean, it was like 90. And
I actually don't think it was that hot. Like, I think it was
No.
warm.
at the beginning of the party,
No, I mean, I thought it was
kn-
warm.
at
Like, I
night
was
it
wearing
cooled off,
shorts, but I was like, oh, thank God, this isn't one of those 90-degree years. Like, 2 years ago,
It was
like, I
humid
couldn't walk.
more than it was hot.
that's
Yeah.
what it was. It was humid. And see, no matter how many years I've lived here, the humidity is just something we didn't have back home in Seattle. So I think it feels the same to me. So see, that's my mistake. But it's weird to me for it to be so humid and so warm outside still after all these years. But I noticed a lot of what Charles mentioned too, where people just kind of seemed cranky, and people were cranky toward their kids. And I noticed that in several different places around when we were, kind of bebopping around. And even at they had 2 separate dance parties that were pretty cute, but people were, it was, I don't know why they were cranky, but it didn't feel as crowded to me. Like some of the other guys were saying, it didn't feel as crowded to me as the first Halloween party was. But
I can't believe you're saying that. So
Yeah, no,
I
it
didn't
felt
go to
crowded
this
the
Halloween
same-
party this year, but I am like, what was the Halloween party like? Because it was a full park when we were there.
It's I think Craig mentioned it, but the thing is, during the Christmas party, Main Street was awfully crowded, and you could go to other places. I hung out in Frontierland a little bit and stuff in Tomorrowland, and it wasn't that crowded, and you can walk around and be cool and enjoy yourself. It's once you got to Main Street where everything happens, where everybody's camped out shoulder to shoulder, and you're tight. On the Halloween party, it was a little more dispersed park wide, so there was no uncrowded place, but it wasn't crowded as tight. So Frontierland and Tomorrowland were more crowded during the Halloween party, but Main Street was slightly less crowded.
Yes.
That's kind of how
Yeah.
it goes.
thank you for saying that, because that was definitely a thing for me. And the thing that baffled me was how crowded the second parade was. And so right after the second parade was finished, we wanted to go up and watch the Most Merriest Celebration stage show just a few minutes before the party ended, and went right there as soon as the second parade ended. And there were probably 6 rows of guests sitting on the ground. So even going right there, you couldn't get right up to the stage. There were so many people. And the thing about it that I want to make sure I share with you guys too, just in case you're like me a little bit like this, when everyone stood up for the show, I'm kind of short. I'm only 5'2". So I felt like I was in the middle of just giants all surrounding me, and I really couldn't see the stage, even as close to it as I was. So I all of a sudden started feeling really claustrophobic, and I had to sort of duck out to get back to some free space. And it took a while to get to empty space, because there were so many shoulder to shoulder people right there at midnight.
I think claustrophobic was the word of the night for me, because I have never stood so close to Craig while he was filming something before, and it would be like I would slowly try and move over, and I kept hitting him, and I'm like, I felt bad, but I literally couldn't step away from him.
Yeah, I believe that.
But there was an obstruction in the hub as well because they had all where the partner statue is, all that circle area was all roped off, and it had all the stages and equipment and all this stuff in there. And I'm noticing it during the fireworks, and I'm like, that was really kind of a like crap thing to do for people that like. I get that you have to film stuff here, but like, couldn't you do it on the nights where there wasn't a party that people paid extra, like on top of the extra to be here? You know, there was like one of those lifts was right next to the castle all the time.
But and that is something that you can run into going to the first party on that. That will once they finish their taping for the Christmas specials, that stuff will start to go away. We'll see the crowds be very heavy for the first couple parties, and then it'll slow down and then pick back up at the end. So we're not saying that every party is going to be like this.
Yeah.
I won't sit here and be like, listen to people like it's because all you vloggers and bloggers come out on the first one. No, as I walked up and down Main Street, I wasn't seeing a bunch of men and women in their 30s, 40s, 50s all sitting there. It was kids and families and stuff. So it's even though we're putting stuff out there and you're seeing it, it's not just all us. It's not because...
Well, and even giving, like, guessing at a high number, there can only be, like, I don't know, 1,000 vloggers. And that's
Stop
guessing.
hitting the table.
I'm sorry. That's guessing a lot of people, 1,000.
Yeah, the percentage of the population. And remember, it was sold out the first 2 days. So the percentage of the population among all of those guests who could work in any Disney-related field is small. It's not mostly us. It would be nice if it were.
Here's the thing, though. Disney isn't like, oh, you know what? We're going to have 1,000 vloggers here tonight at 1,000 tickets. So for the person that got nasty on Twitter about that, where's your head at? And also, I get you could have had an amazing experience that night. That's great. Don't come at me because I shared what my experience was. That's exactly why you are here, to follow us and watch these shows, is to hear what our experiences are like. And we will even tell you, Craig already said it, other parties won't be the same as this party. You know what I mean? And you could have, if your goal was to go and ride rides and not see the parade that you paid for, the castle show that you paid for, or the fireworks that you paid for, or get the treats that are part of the selling point, that's okay. That's how you went into it. You managed your expectations and you went for what you wanted to go for. That's great. But don't come at me for saying, like, I wanted to go get my free eggnog and thing, which is not free. You pay for it. But, like, don't get at me because I'm upset because there was mismanaged lines being handled and stuff like that. Like, I will tell you what is going on from my perspective, what I see going on. And I'm happy for you to share yours with me, but neither of us is wrong. Those are just the different versions we've had. That's all.
Okay. So don't get at him.
Yeah. Don't come at me.
Don't come at him.
Don't come at me.
Okay, let's get positive here. Were the treats good?
I didn't get any.
So,
Okie dokie.
There is something that I do want to mention, and this is not to say don't get them or get them, but just keep things in perspective. Like the amount you pay for tickets, as far as the treat stations where you get the complimentary stuff, the amount that you're paying for tickets and the time spent waiting isn't a huge amount of time, but you paid for that. It is not free. These things are not free. You're getting them because you paid for this event. If you do that, if you get those treats instead of getting other stuff, realize, like, that's where your money is going. So I'm not saying don't do it. I'm just saying that sometimes it might not be worth it, and maybe you don't have to get everyone.
So going into the party, one of the main things that I was trying to do was go to every single treat location to try every single cookie, every single drink, so that at the end I could formulate a ranking of what I thought was the best, because you don't have time to, unless it's your main goal is to go to every treat location or snack location or whatever we want to call them, unless it's the main thing that you want to do, you're just not going to have the time to go to every single one. So I tried to rank them, and I think there are a couple. The main one I think that people should hit up is the Pinocchio's Village House, Hoos, because they offer 4 cookies all in one spot.
Did they have the peppermint bar?
Yes, they do. They have the peppermint bar. They have chocolate chip, molasses, and snickerdoodle all in one spot. So
bark, right?
No, it's a cookie.
It's
it's a peppermint bark cookie.
Peppermint
He
bark.
didn't finish the K. That's what
Bark.
Jackie was alluding to. It's not.
Sorry, bark.
Yeah.
Sorry, I just spoke too quickly.
No.
Or it was Rhino. I don't
It was
know.
Rhino.
Yeah, Rhino, and then you just, because, I just wanted
sorry.
to make sure, because the bars, those Yule logs, I didn't want them to think it was something like that.
So yes, that if treats are not a priority, but you still want to try them, I say visit Pinocchio's. And other than that, you really, unless you have one or two other in mind that stick out to you, like, ooh, that looks really interesting, I think that's a good way to not spend too much time wasting your time running around getting treats the whole time. If you just want to sample and I just want to try the cookies, but it's not my main goal.
I had we had a couple of the specialty items. I know you guys did too. So there is a little bit a weird thing that we ran into on the first night. The map is not correct. It had things listed in the incorrect locations. So we'd go and they'd be like, "It's not here. It's over there." And I'm like, "Okay, great." But
It was fun. It was like an adventure.
Yeah, I guess. But I like the treats that are you don't have to pay for these extra, especially since they've got eggnog and the molasses cookies good. I wish I had been able to get more, but it's like what Craig said. We were working, so we did have responsibilities beyond just experiencing the party. But I did not care for the eggnog treat that I had. That was at it was like the Scrooge McDuck eggnog. It's listed as being at Gaston's Tavern. It's at Storybook Treats. I did not like it as much as Craig and I enjoyed the one at Hollywood Studios. So I was a little disappointed with that. But the map also only listed like 3 items specifically as being specialty items. But then I watched, you guys did part of the vlog. If you haven't seen our vlog on the YouTube channel, youtube.com/disunplug, Steve and Charles got to go out and try some other stuff. And there was a burger.
There was a burger in which I consumed most of.
Some of, yeah.
It's good. You should watch the video because, I don't want to waste your time with a lot of burger specifics, but it's worth a try for some.
Excellent. Okay, so treats.
So I want to say something about treats if I can. So I had the peppermint swirl ice cream cone from is it Storybook Treats?
Yep.
Yeah, that was really, really good. And yesterday, this is really fun. So I'm excited about this because I read things about this online. I didn't really like either one of the things we tried at the party, and I was kind of bummed because, I'm like,
the eclair was terrible.
It was the weirdest thing ever. Like, probably little children would like it because of the sugar content, but oh my gosh. So, and I have kind of a sweet tooth, so I'm like, I was really surprised that out of 2 things we tried, I didn't like either one of them. I was like, oh. So anyway, I was reading online that the brownie at Casey's Corner was really good. All of my friends online were ranting and raving about this thing. So my daughter happened to go down to Disney with a friend on Sunday to Monday, and I asked her to bring one home for me. So last night, we all sat around eating this ugly sweater brownie, and you can see a picture of it in the write-up that Steve did on the site. It's the cutest thing, the way they did the buttercream.
When you, Jackie had messaged me about this, and I don't think either you didn't write the word brownie or I didn't see the word brownie, so you're like, she brought me back an ugly sweater. It's like, oh, that's
okay.
That's nice. And then you're like, I didn't like any of the ones at the party, and so I'm glad to have this one. I'm like, okay.
Oh, so and you were like, Jackie's lost her mind.
She's opinionated on sweaters.
Well, it was an ugly sweater brownie, and it had green frosting on the top, covered the whole thing, and then it had some yellow and some red and some white, and they did a really good job on it. Anyway, it was awesome. Super fabulous. Gooey brownie with buttercream icing on the top. Seriously good. So if you're looking for something holiday-ish to try, grab one of those because it was...
Okay, so moving on from there, let's talk about Mickey's Once Upon a Christmas Time Parade. Nothing really new this year based on what it's been in years past, but it doesn't matter. It is a pretty high-energy Christmas parade that just feels like it repeats the same words over and over again for about 20 minutes straight.
How does it go again?
Once upon a Christmas time at Christmas.
It's like you don't know the words just enough so you get the...
Once upon a Christmas time.
You're really belting it out today, Craig.
Yeah.
It's a very musical episode.
You don't watch the Universal show. You don't realize we just sing through them all. Yeah. So I love this parade, though. You can watch it many different places. Like any other parade at Walt Disney World, you can watch it all throughout Frontierland, moving into Liberty Square, as well as in the hub area, or then Main Street. My recommendation is absolutely Main Street USA. If you have the chance, it's just being able to have it snow while the parade is coming down is just super, super amazing. It makes for great pictures. It helps put you in the mood for it. You know, when you see Mickey and Minnie kicking off the parade all happy, it just like the tone starts there and it doesn't stop all the way through the marching soldiers to Santa Claus finishing it all off. Despite the song irritating me to no end at this point after hearing it for so many years, I love this parade.
Yeah.
It's good. My favorite is the gingerbread men, because if you watch them dancing, their backs are flat, like they were just taken off of the cookie sheet. And I think that is so clever in their costume.
They got that pancake butt.
Yeah, I love it. It's so cute.
I agree with you. I think there is one of those the moment when you where we stood and watched it, even though we were like kind of crammed there. It's still like seeing it down Main Street with the snow just like coming in the entire time. And of all the parades, like it feels very consistently Christmas all the way through.
Yes.
So I appreciate that about it.
Yeah, it's good to be bad sections in there.
Yeah, or the
Yet.
like harvest section or whatever. That makes no sense.
That really gets on your nerves,
I
Steve.
hate it.
The Clarabelle hater.
I do not like Clarabelle.
Oh,
Some people don't like Daisy. I don't like Clarabelle.
Oh, but when her float comes by, it's got one of the scents, the smelters on it, and it's just
Yeah, but her voice
my
is so annoying.
All I want
Well, Steve,
for
now you know how we
Christmas.
all feel.
This is the episode of everyone being mean to each other.
Well, it's the
Merry
Festivus episode. We're airing our grievances right now.
Can we get onto the
Womp,
feats of
womp,
strength?
That's off camera. So then we also have Holiday Wishes, the special fireworks featuring the amazing perimeter fireworks that will go 180 degrees all around the Magic Kingdom. And again, nothing new, still the same basic projections that they have, but all the classic holiday tunes. Again, I love these fireworks so much. I wish they could utilize the projections that they use for Happily Ever After and Once Upon a Time, make it more like Jingle Bell Jingle Bam, especially with like Mickey's Christmas Carol in there and stuff like that. But I love the soundtrack for this, especially when it gets to like the No Place Like Home for the holidays. I think I've said it on here before and I'll say it again. That's the part where I start to feel dead inside, because it's like there is no place like home for the holidays. And I'm stuck in Florida every other year.
You're like the opposite of every Christmas movie character ever who wants to go to Florida for Christmas. I agree. I think like keep kind of the show the way it is, but just enhance it with the projections. Like when it becomes the Christmas tree, it would be cool to see like ornaments and stuff on the castle hanging there.
Yeah,
I think.
and I mean they do kind of have that effect with the green and stuff, but every time that part comes up and you start seeing people's reaction that don't realize that like, oh, it's making the castle into a Christmas tree, and then the star is the top
star's
at the
the cool
end.
part, yeah.
Like it's so cool when people see that for the first time and you can tell. And the same thing when it goes into the toy section and with the babes in Toyland and and like boing, boing, boing. Like, it's so fun seeing the reactions from people who don't know the fireworks like some of us do.
Plus,
So-
now that Wishes is gone, it's kind of cool to like when it gets to the end and it's like Wishes. And you're
Yeah.
still hearing and you're like, this used to be my favorite part of the other show. I'm so happy to like when they're like all your holiday wishes.
yeah,
I don't know.
There's a little taste of
It
it.
gives you a little I don't
Nostalgia.
know.
Yeah, I completely agree with that too. It's easily my favorite thing during the event. I love the parade, but Holiday Wishes, and then Rhino and I were lucky enough to celebrate the next night with our friend Ashley. It was her birthday, and we did a fireworks cruise and got to watch the fireworks from there.
That was cool.
Yeah, that was
Because you
That's
could
really
you could still
very
see
cool.
the Christmas tree forming too, so it was really
Yeah.
neat. Yeah.
Yeah, it's a cool experience. If you can time that out where you can do a fireworks cruise during Mickey's Very Merry Christmas Party, like that is a cool way to see them.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
I recommend that. I regret that we have to bring it up, but Mickey's Most Merriest Celebration, the Castle Stage Show, which starts with a lot of promise that there's this big party coming, and then it just goes off the rails almost immediately. We've got Daisy singing Text Me Merry Christmas. Clarabelle Cow comes out and sings All I Want for Christmas Is You, which I'm irritated about. On Apple Music, I listen to their classic holiday radio station, which is supposed to be, like, in my opinion, classic Christmas songs. And then out of nowhere, it'll be like a back-to-back lineup of All I Want for Christmas Is You and then NSYNC. And I'm like, it's even though it's been 25 years for at least Mariah Carey, I believe that song's probably 25 years now. It's not classic. That's not classic yet. Classic is...
Craig wants the 50s.
The
I want that.
50s.
So I hate that this song's in the show. I hate that song in general. And
The texting song? Yeah,
the
it's garbage.
texting song and Mariah Carey. Yeah.
But the kids today text, so it's topical. See, they don't make phone calls. They text on
The
their
worst
phone.
part is
so
that song's not even a
it's
young
trendy.
person's song. That's
No.
a Dina Menzel song. And you're like, get
No, and
your Frozen song and get your cell phone song out of my life.
I believe the cell phone song is Straight No Chaser is the original people who sang it.
Oh, and she does a
Yeah.
cover?
With Kristen Bell, if I can remember correctly. I'm not positive on it, but I think someone will fact check me on that one and let us know who sang it first. That's a fun trivia show thing.
But we don't care.
Anyways, then of course you have the Three Caballeros section. You have Woody and Jesse and Buzz. No, not Buzz. Sorry, just Woody and Jesse and Bullseye.
Just the roundup.
Yeah, just the roundup side coming out to sing their hoedown Christmas song, and then the part that I have.
Jingle Bell Rock.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They go.
okay.
Well, they have the country style at first, and then it goes all the way through. And then the part that I get most offended about is the Mickey and the whole gang that's up there, the Fantasyland crew, all of them singing a song from Muppets Christmas Carol.
Is that the
without
Christmas
us
bells?
singing? No.
Oh.
No, it feels like Christmas.
He's so angry right now.
Yep.
I can,
I don't
I
know.
can
Can we
feel
get a
heat
Kermit?
radiating off his
Can
face.
we like
It's-
get a little stage?
It's in the singing of a street corner choir.
You see, at that point during the show, I'm just so
You've already tuned
dumbfounded
out.
by everything that I've seen. Yeah, and doesn't the Christmas Bell song happen right before that?
Yeah, it's part of the Chippendale medley with "Ring, that's Christmas
Bell,
bell."
ding, 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 ding. And then
Yeah.
they just keep going so fast that you're like, I think my brain has melted.
This So when I was sitting waiting for a parade spot for like a half an hour, the show was going on, and I was just like, good God, I am not looking forward to shooting the show at the end of the night, because it felt 35 minutes. And then I ran into a friend and he's like, oh, it's only 20 minutes. And I was like, what? I thought it was so much longer, and it felt long. When you watch that 11:55 show, you're just like, no, I want to go home.
It's hard
so
because
long.
it's like what you just said. There's no part of the show that I like. I'm trying to be optimistic about it and get into it, but like, there's no version of the songs that I like in the show really. And I love All I Want for Christmas by Mariah Carey because I'm that type of a person, but I hate the Clarabelle Cow version. And there's a lot of innuendo in that part too, and it makes me uncomfortable.
What's so confusing to me about this stage show is that they nailed the entertainment at the Christmas party besides, well...
Oh, do they? Do the acapella group really do it for you?
I mean, the stuff on Main Street and in front of the castle, like the fireworks and the parade and everything, that is done so well that it's so bizarre to me that this stage show goes off the rails so quickly.
It's definitely made for a different generation. I love the fact that the Three Caballeros are represented. I love the character representation in the show. I hate pretty much every single song choice they went with it. It all feels like they nailed the concept, just not the execution with what they chose to be put up there on with the songs. And speaking of failing, a totally Tomorrowland Christmas, it was painful. I've watched the show every single year of the party since I can remember. It was so painful to me that I was standing there filming it and turned around and saw Jackie just with the biggest beaming, smiling face. Like, this is great, guys. And I'm just like, will someone push me over and get
You
me
know
out
what?
of
He
this?
hit her. I'm going to be honest. I was there. He just turned around and hit her. Nobody's talking about it, but it's gotten weird.
You know what though? This is my only thing that I can say is that I don't go to Disney as often as these guys do. So I and I don't even go to the parties every year even. So like sometimes things are just all new for me. And like
But I think you and I have seen the show the exact same amount of times. So I don't know that this is an excuse right now.
No,
I'm just saying.
I was one of the things that I was, and this is going to sound weird, but like with the Edge effect or whatever acapella group they decide to have on whatever year, and Totally Tomorrowland Christmas, it's an entertainment that at least is not sitting in a can of sardines. Like, I was just happy to be looking at something and like be able to move my arms more than like 3 inches to my sides.
I will agree that.
So, and some obviously some people are going to like it for the characters that they have and everything. So they might not have nailed it, but if you want to kill a few minutes and watch it, it's probably a decent choice.
It's a great concept because if you don't know what it is, you have Haley
Stitch.
Comet. Is that her name in
I
it?
think
Like
so.
they're that on the nose.
I did not know she had a name.
Yeah, it's definitely Haley, and I believe it's
sounds right.
Comet.
That makes sense.
Got to be funny with it, and it's not. But then you bring all the Tomorrowland characters together. So you have Buzz Lightyear representing his Space Ranger spin.
I
You
actually
have-
do love that part though when they do the Janet Jackson like dance in the leather outfits. That's just
Yeah.
me being a different type of person.
And, yes, it is. You have Mike Wazowski representing his Monsters Inc. laugh floor. You have Stitch representing nothing anymore.
I didn't understand that until you just laid it out like that.
Oh my goodness.
I literally have been so like, whoa, this show's like so much stimulation that I didn't realize that's what it was.
I'm hoping next year,
Wow.
since
You didn't
Stitch is
know
no
that-
longer relevant, we can get actual. We can get Sunny Eclipse in there. Get a big walk around. Hey, guys.
When are we getting? I like anything with Sunny Eclipse. When are we getting Tron characters?
Maybe that'll make for a totally Tomorrowland
They
Christmas.
need the robot or something.
Yeah, but yeah, this show, I think Charles kind of alluded at it the best. It's not that busy. You can walk right up, get a decent spot, and it's mildly entertainment. Your kids will love it.
Yes.
You will.
Yeah.
You will, if you're Jackie, you'll enjoy it. Edge Effect
Sorry.
is the a cappella group they have this year, and they
Exist.
They replaced the last a cappella group that I can't remember their names
D
anymore.
Capella, or is that another?
No,
acapella?
they were the one who won the. They were on that show, the talent show. I can't remember now.
I know it's not
slipping my name.
Rockapella because they did the Carmen Sandiego theme, and they're the only band I know.
Yeah, Edge Effect. It's more a cappella music that I mean. I'm glad I don't have to hear Holiday Road
I was
anymore.
just going to ask you, did they sing Holiday Road?
At least, if they did, I missed that set that it was in there. But if listening to a cappella Christmas music is your thing, have at it. And that's all I have to say about that. I can't say much more. So that is basically it for what's there at the party. Jackie mentioned the dance activities. I don't feel comfortable.
Voice play.
Thank you. I don't feel comfortable us talking about it because we didn't take any kids in there to dance around with the characters. But
Well, we did go to get treats, and we did walk into Club Tinsel, which is the DJ that they have behind there. It's like, like a kids dance party thing, and it's the better of the two if you ask me, just because there are tables for parents to sit while your kids are dancing, and you can still be close by but take a load off. And it was pretty dead inside most of the times we went there. But the DJ, like the voice and demeanor of the DJ was like a downtown nightclub DJ, but with a kids dance party. And I don't know if that's traditional with Disney. It just felt weird, really weird, like oddly out of place to me. All right. Coming up next, we've got, and he had the DJ voice and everything. And it didn't seem Disney to me. It unsettled me a little bit.
that's pretty standard for a Disney dance party of any sort. So
The kids were having a blast, though.
Yep.
I mean, they really were. There were reindeer came trucking out there, and there was a couple of bears and
Nameless polar bears.
nameless polar bears.
sounds like
and-
it sounds like Rhino's dream.
I was
Yeah.
just going to make a joke about that. You know me so well.
He loves the reindeer and he's a fan of bears.
I do.
See?
I love the gay reindeer.
they were pretty cute. They were dancing. They
were. So final thoughts on the party. Anyone,
Though
please
I
share.
did not enjoy the evening that we went, and I felt very overwhelmed. And before I knew it, it was midnight. I do enjoy the Christmas party. So I think, were you coming on a night that is not sold out? and you, like we always tell you, manage your expectations, I think that you can find it very enjoyable.
Yeah, ditto. I absolutely love this party. It's just the crowds every night is different, and opening night sold out. The crowds were not in the best frame of mind, but like if you work hard, you even with crowds, you can still keep that Christmas win yourself. Disney does their job about crafting that environment around you. So, I mean, I still love the party. It's just that night was a little bit off, I'll be honest.
Yeah, I kind of feel the same way. That night was a little bit off because I absolutely love the Christmas party. And I think what I'm going to do differently next time is I'm going to stay closer up to Main Street while the parade and the fireworks are going on, just because that snow, oh my gosh, it just, it's so cool. It's just gorgeous. I mean, you see it and it's just this magic that you are in a different place and you see all of this Christmas around you. It's just magnificent. And for that alone, it's worth it to me to go.
I agree. I love the Christmas party. I've always loved it even more than the Halloween party. My main focus was trying to go to all the different treat locations. So, that was kind of my main deal. But yeah, when I go back, just like with me and my wife, Michaela, I'm going to go and enjoy everything the way I would if I was just an average guest. And I'm very, very excited about that.
Yeah, I didn't go to the party last year with my wife, but I think we're going to attend this year. And that's kind of how I feel about with the Christmas party. For me, it's like an every other year type of thing now. I don't feel like until they start making big strides and changing it up every year, I feel like for me, the Christmas party's an every other year thing, while the Halloween party for me would probably be like every 3 years. Yeah. I would do that. So I recommend going if you haven't been in a year or two. But if you just went last year, unless you came down specifically for that, maybe take some time to check out some of the other offerings around Walt Disney World this year, like the amazing stuff happening at Hollywood Studios or what's going to start happening at Epcot in a little bit. So that's our thoughts on Mickey's Very Merry Christmas Party, and that's everything that we have to talk about on this week's show. So the last thing I have to do is wish my wife a happy anniversary because she has to earn it and sit through all 90 minutes of this, 97 minutes at this point.
90 plus.
If she wants to hear that happy anniversary. So I hope she does. If not, I already said it earlier today, so that's fine. But that's going to do it for this episode. We'll be back with you, not next week, but we'll be back with you on the 24th for our marathon show. So let's hit that music and let's get out of here. See you next time, guys. Bye.